Hey, Life Designers, what's up? Welcome to Intentional Tuesdays. We have a bit of a break from the normal routine this week and a bit of a shameless plug, if you will. I am super excited to announce that my first book, Never Too Late, Get Unstuck, Escape Mediocrity, and Design a Life You Love, will be available this coming Saturday, October 5th at 8 a.m. So mark your calendars, wake up early on Saturday morning and grab yourself a copy or 20 if the mood suits you, and spend your Saturday morning diving into the project that has consumed a pretty big chunk of my last couple of years. So this has definitely been a long project for me, 2 years in the making, and I'm really excited to be able to bring this book into the world. And I'm excited to share a little bit today about the book with you. I want to just kind of give you some of my thoughts on, well, one, what the book is about, and also what I think or what I hope makes this book a little bit different than other books that you may have encountered. So if this sounds interesting to you, then stick with us because we're going to jump in. So by way of an explanation, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there a part of your life that you would like to make a change, but perhaps you haven't really done much about it in the way of making that change? Maybe it's something that you've been living with for quite some time. And instead of working on this particular aspect of your life, you spend most of your energy working around that particular aspect of your life. We are really good at living with suboptimal conditions. Humans are very creative and very resilient. But unfortunately, that is really no way to live your life. And that concept, that idea of having something in your life that you want to change, but probably haven't done much about it, or if you've tried some things, you haven't made much progress, this is the premise of the book, Never Too Late. I have a term that I use for describing this way of living, of just kind of going along with the status quo and just kind of living with the way things are rather than asking yourself or questioning the way that they could be. I call this living by default. And much of the book, well, at least the beginning of the book, the first few chapters, are about describing the ways that living by default is really getting us into trouble. It's a really insidious way of living because it kind of sneaks up on you in a lot of ways. It's kind of addictive because it's convenient. Living by default is typically very convenient, whereas doing the work to make whatever change you want to make often feels like it would be either impossible or, at a minimum, really, really hard. So the book talks about that and some of the pitfalls and the traps that come with living by default. But then, of course, I do propose an alternative, and the alternative is ultimately the thesis of the book, which is that there is a better way. There's a better way than living by default. And I call that better way living by design. A big part of living our life by design means being intentional about the things that we include in our lives, being intentional about the things that we exclude from our lives. Intentionality really is a game changer when it comes to our decision making and our happiness, our overall feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction. Intentionality really is a big game changer. And a lot of the book is describing how to become more intentional about the life that we have constructed for ourselves. Now, of course, this sounds easy, but I suspect you realize that it probably isn't, thus the need for the book. Now, the book is definitely not a how-to manual. When I wrote this book, I wrote it in a way, I wanted it to be a book that I would want to read. I find that these days my attention span is incredibly short. I would probably gladly pay double for a book that would be half the length that most books are these days, if it would be just as good with half the length. And I think there's a lot of filler and fluff in a lot of books out there, and I definitely didn't want it to be that. So Never Too Late is a very fast read. My goal was to create something that somebody could actually, if they were so inclined, they could actually read it in one sitting. Although I suspect most people probably will take 2 or 3, but it really does read very, very fast. It's absolutely packed with techniques and strategies for moving yourself in the direction of living by design, but it definitely reads very, very quickly. And I wanted it to be something that you could put down and then pick up, because the chapters are really short, and each chapter is only about a page or two, which is kind of nice because it's really bite-sized, and you can pick and choose what you want to focus on at any given time. And I wrote the book in a way, I didn't want this book to feel like you were sitting in a lecture hall in school. I wanted it to feel more like, sitting in a coffee shop with a really good friend, or maybe even sitting at a bar over a beer. I wanted the book to feel like a conversation, like a casual conversation between you and your best friend, and really kind of thinking through these strategies with a good, close ally, rather than thinking of it as a lecture from a professor. So I do believe I was able to strike that particular tone, and I hope that you enjoy that aspect of the book. So if you are interested or willing to support me on my journey, there are a few things that you can do. So the first thing, of course, is to go ahead and grab a copy of Never Too Late. And once again, Saturday, October 5th, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, on Amazon, or you can go to nevertoolatebook.com, and from there there'll be a link that you can click to get to the Amazon where you can pick up a copy. So grab yourself a copy, sit down, find a comfy chair, and read the book. And then tell me what you thought of it. It's really helpful for me to hear what you think about it. But more importantly, tell Amazon. If you enjoy Never Too Late, please write an honest review on Amazon. It is super critical to have good reviews, especially in the early stages of launching a book. So if you'd be willing to write a positive review, and if you have a negative review, maybe keep that to yourself. But if you enjoy the book, please take the time to write a positive review on Amazon. That will be hugely beneficial to me. And then tell a friend. If you enjoyed the book, tell a friend. If you didn't enjoy it, maybe tell an enemy. But if you enjoyed the book, tell a friend. It's really hard to get a signal out there. We live in a very noisy world. Very difficult to get the word out when something is worth reading, something is worth watching and listening to. It's very difficult to get the word out. So I would appreciate anything you'd be willing to do along those lines. So grab a copy, share a copy, and tell me what you think. I would love to engage with you to hear how this book landed for you, and to see if the messages in there resonate with you. I hope they do. I think they will. I think it's a really fun book. I think you'll be excited to grab a copy of it, and I definitely look forward to hearing from you about that. So with that, I am going to turn back over your time, the rest of your week back to you. Next week, I promise we will return to the regularly scheduled Intentional Tuesdays programming. As always, I appreciate your time, I appreciate your attention, and all of the support that people have given me over the past years to help me bring this book to the world, but also to support me in all of my work, Intentional Tuesdays, as well as my coaching and my training offerings. I thank you very much if you've been part of that, and if you're watching this video, then you are part of that. So my heart goes out to you. Look forward to taking this forward in the next step in my journey, and hopefully inviting you to begin a journey of your own with regards to your own life design. So with that, I wish you all the best, and take care, and prosperous journey. See ya.